strategies you may share to some of those who are aspiring to create their own projects in order to succeed in this field? Yeah. But yeah, let's start with the formal questions actually. All right. So to start off, can you quickly introduce yourself and tell us, what's it that exactly you were doing prior your time in Sharky?
Yeah, sure. So this is Neppah speaking. I'm the purple monk in the audience. That's my personal account, but I would call myself a core team member. I'm not a founding member. Sharky was founded in December of 2021 by our co-founders Anton and Rhea. We're a fully doxed team, so people can check out the link tree in our bio and see all of our beautiful faces and what we do. What I personally do at Sharky is just community management. I do like to lead on that end, partnerships, and social media management. So almost all of the posts made from Sharky.Fi is me. And yeah, that's how you say our name. Our entity name is Sharky. The website name is Sharky.fi, Sharky.fi. So you can call it Sharky, you can call it Sharky.fi, but I like saying Sharky. And that's just a little bit about me. I know I joined the team in March or April of last year, so it's been almost a year with me working with Sharky. And we've seen tremendous growth. Like when I first came, I'm pretty sure we had 200 to 300 users on the platform. And today, I believe we're about to approach 14 to 15,000 users. So we've seen tremendous growth since we've launched on mainnet, which was April of last year. And since we launched our NFT collection, which was October of last year. So that's just a little bit about me when Sharky was incepted, our co founders, and people can check out the link tree in the bio. And then I think you asked about my previous experience outside of Sharky.
Yeah. So what? With that being said, can you actually tell us, yeah, what were you doing prior getting into Sharky project? Then how did you actually get to start in this whole Web3 space, especially NFTs? It's really great for us to learn more about your journey in this space, right? How do you actually start here?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I started working full time and been working full time in Web3 since October of 2021. So that's 2 years ago. And it first started with how did I? Well, let me stop. Let me pause. How did I get into the space? I've been on Discord before. I was a gamer. Discord was made by gamers for gamers, so I already knew about the app. Knew about group chats and stuff. So I was also on YouTube and found this community called Dumb Money, who also has a Discord. And there's these three guys that basically do stock trading. They social arbitrage stocks. So let's say your favorite Netflix movie came out and you see the whole world talking about it. That's when I would go to Google Trends, see that the Google Trends is at an all-time high, and I would see what stock can I buy to arbitrage that. So that's where I came from, and they had a small section in the Discord talking about crypto where I always thought the people talking in it were like smart as fuck. I was like, I have no clue what that is, no clue what it is, but I was just fascinated by like the language they were using. And that goes to show like I kept making connections within Discord, kept like researching, asking the right questions, and then soon I founded a documentary that I watched on Bitcoin, on crypto, got into it, started reading white papers on Ethereum, on Bitcoin, yada yada yada. Do your own research, gain the conviction, so you know what you're putting your hard earned money into. So fast forward, I
Yeah.
became a Discord moderator for Dumb Money because they just trusted me. It's all about consistency. It's about showing up for the community. It's about answering questions, asking questions. And then soon, someone from that community created their own project called NeoNexus. And NeoNexus was going to be like the largest metaverse on Solana, if anyone heard of it. It's now a rug. But someone who founded it, they did hire me as a community manager, and that's basically where I started as Web3. Shout out to Leon Gabondo. He's a huge investor into the space who introduced me to Sharky. But yeah, so that goes to your second question. Before I was with Sharky, I did work with NeoNexus and a few other projects. I've helped projects launch, I've helped projects build their Discord, I've helped projects create strategies around engaging and building their community. such as Soul Socks. So I am like I'm not a Solana maxi, but I do focus on Solana. So I don't know if anyone's an OG and know about Soul Socks, but that was like when limited collections, because 10K collection is the general thing, but that's when Meta
Yeah.
was like limited collections. So Soul Socks was like one of the first limited collections. I think they had 500 Solanas. I mean socks on Solana. Minted at like 1.5 Sol when Sol was at like 200, 250, and it went up all the way to like 50, 60, 70. Soul Socks is also now a rug too. So it also like a lot of things happen. I was introduced to a lot of NFT projects since 2021, and now I'm with Sharky. But before then, yeah, just community manager, marketer, Discord moderator, and I do things outside of Sharky, but Sharky is my main focus. But right now I Discord moderate for Moon Holdings, which is an upcoming mint. It should mint tomorrow. So super bullish on the founder of Moon Holdings. Actually, that's who got me into the space. I'm a Discord moderator for Chill Chat. They're gonna be having some news come up. Can't say too much about that. And I'm a Discord moderator for Dare Mola Supply Chain Project, which I know he has the Creatures Mint coming out. So I'm really just connected within the space, love artists, love the big profile picture collections, love engaging with community. But that's just a little bit about how I got into the space, what I've done outside of Sharky, and what I'm doing now.
All right, that's so cool. Actually, I'm also looking forward to get a whitelist in Moon Holdings. Yes, aside.
You
Yeah,
better
it's
pick.
really.
Meant like tomorrow, so I don't know if whitelist is being handed out anymore.
Yeah, I applied. I think that's like 1 or 2 weeks ago. Yeah, yeah, it's fine. All right, so yeah, really interesting stuff. So I know some people in the audience are also, currently working as community moderators or community managers. So basically you had it from being the people on actual field in the community, and now you're one of the co-founders of one of the trending projects in the space, which is really, really inspirational in a sense. I really like that. Yeah. And for those who don't actually know about Sharky project, so to our wonderful listeners, can you tell us more about this Sharky project?
Yeah, for sure. It's my favorite pitch to throw. I'm super professional at it. What Sharky is, we are the leading NFT lending protocol on Solana. So people go to Sharky.Fi, Sharky.Fi to lend Sol or borrow Solana. So let's say you have a little extra liquidity, you're not using all of the Solana you hold. That's when you would go to Sharky.Fi to lend Solana to your favorite collections and get interest payments, so you're earning more. On the opposite end, let's say you need a little extra liquidity for an exciting mint coming up. That's when you would go to Sharky.Fi to borrow Solana utilizing an NFT. So we every single collection listed on Sharky.fi is having like an extra added utility because you can hold an NFT, keep ownership because we are escrowless. So when people take out a loan borrowing against their NFT, the NFT stays in their wallet, safely frozen in their wallet. Backed by Cardinal Labs. I do appreciate Cardinal Labs. That is the tech that they power. But that just means you get to keep DAO access. You can still receive airdrops. You can even stake an NFT and borrow against it, for instance, Solana. So that's what people do. It's why we say NFT backed loans. But it's just how it works in like Web 2. As soon as you take a loan, you have to put up something as collateral, for example. In this case, you're putting your NFT as collateral. So we do work for short term loans, 7 days and 14 days. And if you don't pay back that loan within 7 days or 14 days or whatever you agreed to, the lender that gave you the Sol, that provided the Sol, can then foreclose the NFT and get foreclose the loan to get your NFT. So it works as simple as that. Lend Sol or borrowing Sol. The common misconception that I see is people say they're borrowing an NFT, they're lending it out an NFT. You're never doing that. You're only lending out your Solana or you're only borrowing Solana. But if you forget to pay back your loan when you borrow Solana, that's when the lender can get an NFT. So that's how Sharky works, escrowless in a way. I know we have our sharks collections connected to it that we'll probably dive deeper about, but that's as simple as it gets. So I do recommend people like actually visiting our website, Sharky.fi, if they're confused, because our UI and UX is pretty simple. It explains it all. Even if you don't get it though, just DM us, DM me, we'll walk you through it. But we do believe simplicity is key in gaining and attracting and adopting mass users. So yeah, that's just a little bit about us.
All right. So I just had a additional question with regards to that. So, like for example, right, I get this amount of sol. Usually, the collateral NFT is higher in price, right? Is that correct?
Oh, sorry.
Like,
Yeah, typically. I mean, this is all decentralized. So if you're a lender of Solana, you can lend as much Solana as you want. And I definitely recommend knowing what you're doing because you can lend an amount of Solana that's just as much as the NFT. So let's say SMBs, for example, Solana Monkey Business, let's say it's at 240 Solana. Me as a lender, I'm not about to lend you 240 Solana because the floor price can probably drop below that within 7 days. And if the floor price drop below the amount of the loan that you gave, you're likely to receive a default. But that's usually how it works. Yeah, the NFT is usually priced higher than the actual loan. And I do recommend knowing what the LTV is, the loan to value, the loan to floor. But I know on the website it does say a little bit about that too. We recently, yesterday, publicized our dashboard too. So if anyone's wondering, like, what are the LTV values? What is the highest? What is the lowest per collection? Then head up our Discord because we definitely do have the dashboard public too about those things. But yeah, typically the NFT value should be higher than the loan always. But if it drops below that, the loan is likely to default.
all right. So it's always, I thought there's a system that automatically assigns these values. So it's being assigned by the users themselves, right?
Yeah, anyone can lend the amount of Solana that they want, and then as a borrower, you take the highest offer, for example. So that's how it works. The only thing
Okay.
that's really
All
static
right.
or standard is the APY, like the annual percentage yield, which goes from 180% to 240% on our platform. So if you're a lender, you can earn 180 to 240% APY on your,
Wow.
you know.
Okay, so the rich guys there, you can lend on Sharky platform, loaning platform. That's really awesome API. So with this Sharky project, there are a lot of projects in the space, right? So what do you think really sets this project apart from other projects in the Web3 space? And then you have any strategies that you can share with us? So how you've actually done these things to be unique in the space?
Oh yeah, sure. Um, I mean, our project's unique in the space only because we actually have a working protocol with generating revenue. Not too many projects have a working product that's already generating revenue. I know for a while we had zero fees, so anyone on our protocol, lender or borrower, you weren't paying any fees, and that was just to drive our growth. So as of November 30th of last year, though, we implemented 16% fees. So we are generating revenue on that, and I do think that does set us apart from almost every single NFT collection. There's a difference between NFT collections and like builders and an actual product. So I would say that, but on our actual product, the simplicity is what I think differs us from other products, other competitors, for example. Simplicity is key. That is something that we emphasize. That's something that will drive users and drive our growth for sure. Being simple, not being too overcomplicated, not giving the user too many options, but also like I even know like Anton, our co-founder, has a way where he wants to make some of the stuff obsolete, like loan duration or APY. That might not have to matter in the future just because we're going to make things so simplified for our users. So I do think that is like the main thing that differentiates us from our competitors. And one thing that I extremely like about Sharky, because when I first joined Sharky March of last year, I didn't know what a loan was, to be honest. I didn't know what a default was. I didn't know what LTV was or any of that. But the simplicity of the protocol definitely helped me to learn that, and I feel the same way for our users probably. So I would say simplicity, and also just the way that our founders think. So our founders, Anton and Rhea, they have founded startups before, successfully sold them off as well. I know one is called like Toast Nation, which is maybe like the largest software used on Slack. So if anyone uses Slack for messages, like our founders help make some of the software on that, which is really cool. And that probably differentiates us from other teams too, just from having like that experience and previous experience of being in a startup. This is my first time experiencing startups, so it definitely works way, way different from being in something like corporate America or working a 9 to 5. You definitely have to fill in positions that you've not filled in before. It drives your personal and professional growth and stuff like that. But those are just like a few things that I feel like helps us and differentiates us and drives our product is just the simplicity, the way the co-founders think, and the way we set up. So I know we have an NFT collection too, 10,111 shards give you money. That's when I'm gonna invest into you because I can actually see your product, use your product, see if I like it, and then you're asking me for an investment. So I love the way we did that too.
Okay.
But that's just a few things, yeah.
All right. So we lost you for quite a few seconds in your last statements, but yeah, we get
That's
your response. Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, so it's really interesting. Yeah, I agree. You actually created a really nice protocol here at first, like a really nice product with great utility for everyone. So for those who are looking for more gains using their money or Solana, in case they can earn actually by lending this. And then for those who are, like, for example, if you are a DGen and you're looking forward to a really hot mint that will be coming soon and you don't have the funds, you can just use your NFTs as collateral and then get this, and somehow with the mint, and then once it goes live you earn something from it, then you can pay back loans with that. So that's really something that's interesting. Yeah, especially not everyone in the space have this liquid money with them, so really helps a lot of people, I believe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
My bad. Am I able to take these questions in the audience, or are we gonna do this afterwards? Because I know Apo down there has 2 questions that he typed in the chat bubble. Can I take these now, or are we gonna do it after the segment?
Oh yeah, you can take this now.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
it's
because
fine.
I know Apo just asked what will happen to the foreclosed loan NFTs. I have no clue. That's up for the lender to do. This is decentralized. So if you loan SOL and you receive a default because the borrower didn't pay back the SOL, you can foreclose that loan and keep the NFT. So you can do whatever you want with that NFT. Foreclose the loan, get the NFT, keep it, sell it, stake it. I don't know, burn it, but that's up for the lenders. We don't really know what happens to the foreclosed NFTs. We're not in control of that unless we're lending. And the second question is, what if during the loan the floor price drops? What will you do to relieve the losses? So as of now, we don't have anything that'll trigger your loan to automatically like stop if the floor price drops, which is why I find it very important to know what you're doing before using our protocol, and why I bring up loan to value, loan to floor. I personally don't lend out 60 to 75% of the floor price. So let's say the floor price of X NFT is 10, I'm not going to give over 7.5 Solana, because if the floor price drops below that within 7 to 14 days or whatever the loan is, I'm likely to receive a default. So if the floor price drops below the loan, you're likely to receive a default. We as an entity, we don't do anything to trigger, we don't do anything to that. That's why it's up to you to know what value of the loan you're putting up against the floor price of the NFT. However, I do think we can be way better at education. Like disclaimers, for example. I know we just put up disclaimers. If you give a loan that's above 92% of LTV or the loan to floor, we'll give you a disclaimer. Now, some people say that's too high. Maybe it is. Maybe we should drop that down to 80% and be like, hey, you as a lender, make sure you know you're about to give 80% of the value of the floor price. So that's something we can do, but I definitely do want to keep and it's not in control of me, but I do want to make sure the user is still able to do whatever they want to do, for example. But these are good questions, and those are my answers to it. I just wanted to acknowledge them. But if anyone else in the audience has questions and doesn't want to request to speak, I know the bottom right chat bubble. Feel free to type those in, and I'll look at them.
Yeah, thank you for that question, Apone Estong. Yeah. So thank you. All right, so let's proceed to the next question. So if you have any questions, you can request to speak, guys, and also can also tweet your questions so we can read it as well. If you are shy to go on stage and actually speak for your questions. All right, so let's move to the next question. So how do you think with regards to general notion about NFTs nowadays, right? So the year has passed, and with the recent things that's happening in Web3, specifically in NFTs. So how do you think NFTs are going to move forward? And then in these upcoming times, you have some specific strategies that you see that would be effective, so you can adapt to these changes or any improvements in the space.
Yeah, I honestly have no clue. Straight up, I have no clue where
Yeah, it's fine.
these are
Fine. Yeah.
going. Like, I'm just being honest because it's a lot of weird stuff going on. Where I know the comment saying we're early used to go on a lot because I've been in NFTs since like January 2021, and I always heard we're early, and I do want to bring that back up and do say we are early to the point where I don't even know where we'll be within the next 5, 10 years. You know what I'm saying? There's a new meta every week, every day. There's something different going on every week, every day. And that's because we're so brand new to this technology that we are experiencing like the upgrades of it. It's just like being in the 1990s or 2000s when the internet became a thing. That's what I feel like this is. So I'm bullish long term always on crypto and NFTs. I believe it's going to provide like a lot of value within the earth. For example, like the books and history, a lot of our history were burned in books. Now we have the blockchain to keep history and information on, you know what I'm saying? So I believe NFTs are going to be like our bank records. NFTs are going to be our insurance cards, and NFTs might be like our car insurance. NFTs will be when we visit the hospital and have our records, that's going to be minted onto the blockchain because we won't have to lose that information. So I'm bullish on it long term, but like short term, let's say the next 3 to 6 months, I'm not sure where we're headed. I know on Solana we recently just maneuvered to this PNFT stuff to enforce royalties, and that whole thing I'm still like trying to comprehend because I personally got into Web3 for decentralization, for me to pay royalties to creators, for me to pay royalties to independent people who are just creating artwork to live. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy that we're now having to create new tech to enforce royalties. You know what I mean? So I just literally sit back, relax, I ingest all of the information, and then I go from there. But some NFT strategies that I use as like none currently. I haven't been minting as much. I am a huge believer of like your network is your net worth, or your net worth is your network. So the people that I vibe with, the people that I connect with, let's say I hear them talk about an NFT project. I'll keep that in mind. Cool. If I keep hearing about the same NFT project, all right, obviously this should be on my radar. I might mint it. Simple as that. That's my strategy now because I don't have much time as I did in 2021 since I'm like a full time worker in this shit. But now my strategy is literally just listening to the communities I'm implemented in. What are they talking about? What are they doing? What are they minting? What are they selling? And then I'll take my own like matters in hand and see what I do. So I do know Moon Holdings, which is tomorrow, is the last thing that I bought. I bought that in pre-sale. But as far as NFT strategies, I've not had much. You know, working for Sharky, I have been lending. I do lend almost every day to earn more Solana. But other than that, flipping JPEGs and NFTs, I've not been doing much of. For example, It's an iffy market right now. And so it's a bit difficult to like even find strategies, you know what I'm saying? But on the hand of our protocol, I know a lot of people have been making money even in the bear market by lending, by borrowing. And I've also been a borrower. So I'll give you a strategy that I use, just one strategy that I use to borrow. But for our own Sharks Mint on October 2nd of last year, you know, I'm in the team, so I'm convicted. I knew we would hit 10 SOL floor price at one point. So minting, I borrowed 10 Solana from my SoDead NFT. I minted some Sharks NFTs because SoDead, it was 7 days. So I was betting on Sharks going up to 10 SOL floor price within 7 days, so I can pay that loan back and sell Sharks and then keep profit, for example. So I take out a loan for 10 SOL. I mint a few Sharks. I wait until Sharks hit 10 floor price. I sell one out of those few Sharks, and then I keep the profit. And then I keep the rest of my Sharks. So that's like a borrowing strategy that I see that I've used. And on the opposite end, there's lots of lending strategies you can do. I have lots of liquidity on the side. I've got 20 Solana in my wallet, for example. I'm about to lend that to a collection I like, which I would recommend lending to a collection you like. Because, like I said, if you receive a default, then you're going to be getting that NFT. And if you don't like that NFT, you're probably going to insta sell it. You're probably not going to know what to do with it. You might miss out on a couple of gains. So that's just a few strategies that I see, like NFT wise, or protocol wise. And then Apo, I know he asked, but no, everyone's free to use Sharky.Fi. You don't have to hold our NFT. If you had to hold our NFT to use our product, that would definitely damage our growth mechanism that we're trying. But we do want to keep growing our users. And for anyone wondering about the stats, I do have all the stats up, but we currently have 14,317 users all time. If anyone's wondering about the default rate that I keep popping up, but it's currently at 7.7%, which is honestly the highest that I've seen it. It has been ticking up these past few months. The lowest that it's been at has been like 2.5%. So you can tell we're in an iffy part of the market since our default rate ticked up, although it's still the lowest in the industry. I do believe that other protocols probably have way higher default rates. Why? Simplicity. I don't think their users know much. Their users don't know as much as our users know just because we keep it simple. So that's just a few things. Yeah, I kind of like talked out my ass, but that was a few good information I wanted to share.
Yeah, it's all good, all good. Those are really interesting points. Yeah. And yeah, with regards to simplicity that you are mentioning, yeah, actually there are a lot of different people in the space, right? So it really helps. Like, for example, you have this really simple platform that's really easy to understand. And I actually read your white paper. So that's a really smart way to describe a white paper of the Sharky project. So it's really simple. I agree. And then I really understood it in the first glance. So that's really something different from other white papers wherein I need to read it back and back again just to fully understand that project concept. But with here, it's really simple and it's made for everyone actually. So even those who, you know, really hard time, who has really hard time comprehending technical concept in some projects. So with here, they can easily understand even just from seeing your Twitter bio, for example, you easily understand that, oh, this is something really interesting and simple to use. Yes, I really like that strategy. And then, yeah, with this space right now, every day there are a lot of changes. I really like your honesty on that. So I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's like we are taking all our steps based on what's actually happening, and we cannot really plan ahead of what will happen in the future because we're just simply assuming things that would be happening but we're not really sure of. Yeah, I agree with that as well. It's a really unique answer to this question. I really like the way you express it. Thank you for that. All right, so going over to more, strategies, as this is NFT strategies talk as well. So, have you also encountered? So, you right now you are a really successful project, but then in the past, have you also encountered hurdles within the span of operating Sharky project? So, how did you actually overcome these obstacles? Then maybe you can share some insights to our listeners, especially to those who are project founders struggling and would just like to learn more from you.
Yeah, for sure. Great question. Yeah, I would consider us pretty successful because as of now, we have 3.3 million Solana in total loan volume. So, for anyone wondering that, 3.3 million Solana has been loaned out or lended on our protocol successfully. So, and I do believe the key or some hurdles. Well, okay, so I'm going to say this: over deliver, under promise. As a project founder, which I'm not, as a project founder, you may have ideas in your head, you may know where you want to go, but I do think you should keep tight lipped with at least some of it. You know what I'm saying? You do not have to publicize every single thing, including the dates that you want it out. Having a clear cut roadmap, I know that's a thing, but that doesn't have to be a thing. I do believe over delivering and under promising is what's gonna have us continue to be successful. So I bring that up because it's also a hurdle that we've had. We minted out of our Sharks NFT collection October of 2nd last year, and we made the mistake of telling them 30 days after mint, you guys will have the utilities for this NFT. It's now like 3 to 4 months, and they're still, the Sharks holders are still waiting. Shout out to Chris in the audience. I do see his Sharks PFP. But hey, Chris, I know you guys have been waiting for a few months for us, and that's like been a hurdle we've been facing because before we launched, we've only had like like a 10 to 12 team. 10 to 12 people team. So as of now, we're working on expanding our team. We're hiring contractors because we do need to have a little bit more speedy development, and that's just with the NFT collection as well as the protocol. Because having a protocol and an NFT collection, you definitely can get distracted. You know, you have to figure out your priorities. What is priority? Providing utilities for your holders, making sure your protocol works right, you know, upgrading the UI and UX. You know, people were asking for a search bar for the longest time, and we finally got a search bar, but at some point, it's like you can press Control F for that because we were distracted. We had to get out holder utilities. So that's like some of the hurdles we're currently facing and have been facing. It's just like internally, we're making sure we know what is priority. We're making sure we can be speedier about development and not being distracted. With this PNFT stuff, with the Metaplex like royalty enforcement program going on, that was a distraction. You know, if that didn't go on, I'm more than convinced that holder utilities would be out, but that did distract us for a bit. And it is important for us, and I don't think our holders knew it was. It's very important for us as an NFT lending protocol because if we weren't up to date on the Metaplex like royalty program, our whole protocol could have like just stopped. You know what I'm saying? Your loans, your and everything, people lending, people borrowing, all of that could have stopped working, which would have been a hell of a mess. You know what I'm saying? So prioritizing something like that over providing values to our users or having to put that on the side is something that we're currently going through. And me as the community lead, community manager, a hurdle that I go through is communicating that, communicating the process, communicating what the community actually wants to hear. Um, and stuff like that. So that's a current hurdle that we're facing that I am transparent about, that people do know about. But we definitely are going to get through it. I know we just released our one pager, which is the pin post on our Twitter for Fishy Token. But that Fishy Token is connected to the Sharks NFT holders. They're going to be able to level up their Sharks and finally get some Solana. Because I don't know if people know, but if you hold a Sharks NFT, you'll be getting Solana back from our royalty fees and our platform fees. So that's gamified dual rewards revenue that you're getting, not just from royalties, not just from our platform, but from both. So those are just some hurdles we're facing, just priority, knowing what to do, getting more contractors, getting more devs. Devs cost a hell of a lot of money. We also want to fundraise, but hell, that can be a distraction at this point. Do we want to continue working on utility or distract ourselves to fundraise for more money? You know what I'm saying? So those are just some things that I'm not even an owner, but I do think other project owners, founders, community managers could definitely benefit from knowing about. Over deliver and under promise. Not your community doesn't need to know every single thing in the works. They don't need to know down to the T the time and date that you guys want to drop something, for example. But I wouldn't say keep things from them, but like Yeah, no, I wouldn't say keep things from them, but definitely keep delivering. Like, don't say everything you're working on because development wise, I'm not a dev, but I do know, like, internally, when we have a timeline, that timeline could always change. Something could always happen, for example. So, those are just a few things I'm learning, a few things other people can learn, a few things we're going through. But we're definitely, I love the saying, you got to go through it to get through it. You know what I mean? So, it's a good question. That's just personally with Sharky what I've seen us going through difficulty wise.
Yeah, the also the challenge with that example, if you announce something to the community, my experience as well as a community lead, if you announce something to the community and you did not, you know, hit these dates, for example, or the roadmap you specifically specified some dates and then you missed it, you know, there is more damage to be done. Like, oh, they will no longer trust you that you are capable of doing those things, etc. But then in reality, yeah, shit happens. So some things may delay you that you can no longer control, but you're still on track, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's about
I really,
communicating those delays too. So I'm definitely growing professionally and personally to know, hey, if something's being delayed, let's see what we can communicate to the community that they care about. You know, if we have a delay because the co-founder's sick, for example, community is not going to care about that. They're going to be like, well, where are you? What are you doing? And it's like, I get that. I get that. So it's just about knowing what to communicate, being transparent, which we have been transparent from the start. And I know our co-founder Anton just released like a Discord announcement too about why some things have been delayed. We've acknowledged some things that we can and will do better at, for example. So it's just a great question overall, especially for us because we are learning. Competition is picking up, which is going to keep us on our toes, and that's kind of exciting.
that's really cool. Love these answers actually. Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, with regards to still strategies for the NFT projects, because we have some listeners here who are really trying to build their own projects or even dream of making their own projects for their own visions and beliefs, example. So, from your observations, so which previous, for example, marketing strategies and community strategies being used by other NFT projects no longer work? And what are new strategies that you observe to be working?
That's a good question. I no longer see giveaways happening a lot, like Twitter giveaways, and if I do see those happening on someone's profile, I'm not gonna lie, red flag. If I see you're posting nothing but giveaways, like retweet, red flag. I don't think that is sustainable growth. That is growth, but that's not sustainable growth. That's when you see a Twitter go from 500 to 5,000 followers, and then as soon as their mint flops, they drop right back down to 500 followers. So I don't think those strategies are working anymore. I do think the whitelist collabs definitely still do work. You know, if you are creating a project, whitelist collabs are your main marketer. That's your main driver, your main growth. But when you do whitelist collabs, you definitely want to see how are you going to maintain those users, because that's also like can be unsustainable growth. Your account can go from 500 to 5,000 during whitelist collabs if you tell people to like and follow your Twitter, but how are you going to keep those users? How are you going to keep those people? Those are thoughts I have. And so I know with Sharky, something that I mentioned before that worked 100% for us, having things for free. You know, our product was free for 3, 4, 5 months, and that's how we were able to drive our users, even though we weren't earning revenue. And this is before sharks were minted out, too. So we weren't earning money on our protocol. We didn't have an NFT collection to help fund us. We actually had like a round or two of seed rounds. So I do believe we raised like 1.8 million before we did mint out our collection. However, even before that, you definitely want to like gain strategies like having your product for free for a minute to drive that growth, for example. It's just like how these free to play, but free to earn or earn to play games are. You want to make sure that the game is free so you can drive the users, but within the game, maybe you have things for them to buy. That's going to drive your growth versus having like a $15 game. Maybe some people can't afford that. That's your limit right there. So I do believe like having our protocol free for a few months definitely helped us out. Launching an NFT collection after having a working product definitely helped us out. And even if you can't do that, because like I said, some people bootstrap, some people cannot raise, especially after the FTX thing. Like fundraising is an iffy topic. But even before those things, like I'm about to lose my thought, but yeah, no, having your product for free, um, or just like having strategies to gain that user growth, that user retention, that ROI, things like that. So something that I also think works out for us too, is just being connected. I know I say your net worth is your network. Being connected. Us as the leading NFT lending protocol, we definitely are connected with like almost all of the projects listed on our protocol, which is 350 to be exact, actually, you guys. But when we list somebody on our protocol, we want to make sure we do a vetting process. We might talk to the team. We might set our community up for some whitelist collabs if it's pre-mint. If it's post-mint, we might set you up with a Twitter space that we'll do. But being connected and just like knowing your partners, your collabs, knowing your users, knowing your community definitely can help out with like your growth. But yeah, I'm talking too much to where I think I forgot the question, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a good. So yeah, you mentioned, okay, yeah. For example, I usually see also project startups doing giveaways, right? Because for example, okay, you're new to the space, you don't have much networks, and basically, if you don't have the initial traction, maybe when someone vets your project, they will not be interested in doing a collab. So what is a strategy you suggest? So, example, some people just resort to these giveaways, right, just to gain initial traction. So, with that being said, maybe what can you share? Like, what can be a good strategy to gain initial traction if we no longer will not be using these giveaways because this is currently is being seen by the market and the community in the Web3 space like a red flag?
Doing exactly what we're doing now, really being active, being present, being in Twitter spaces where you can reach live people, live active people who are listening to you and wondering about your product. I see a lot of people building things, which is kind of like heads down, build, and then market, which I get. But after you're done building, after you're ready to share, be active, be present, be consistent with that too. So I know we host our Shark Bite spaces once a week, and I try to be on 1 to 2 Twitter spaces after that too. So being consistent with being on Twitter with live, active, and open people ready for questions, ready for critiques, definitely is helping us out. And I think that would help any project out, regardless of what stage you're in. Just be consistent with being active and showing up for the community. And eventually that's gonna, eventually you're gonna reap the rewards, in my opinion, especially if you're connecting with people. Like, let's say I come on here and you have like some genuine constructive criticism for me, or maybe someone in the audience does. That's definitely going to help us out. But yeah, speaking of, I do know there's a lot of questions too. Let me see. I know BB Cake asked 7 minutes ago, how do you communicate that hurdle with the community so they won't lose trust in the project? Great question. Um, Being transparent and communicating. I mean, you kind of answered your question in the question. You have to communicate that. You have to be transparent. And if you fucked up on that end, you have to tell the community you fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, our co-founder just made a Discord announcement, acknowledging like why we've been delaying, and it kind of acknowledging like, yeah, we kind of fucked up on not telling you guys about the delays, like with the PNFT stuff that I personally mistaken telling the community like, hey, this is priority. So some listings were put to the side so we know all of the collections on the protocol works right. But I forgot to communicate that. So that's when I reverse my mistake and be like, hey, I understand you guys' frustration. I understand that. And this is what I messed up on. This is what I can and will do better at. And I actually find myself saying that in the Discord often. I'll receive constructive criticism. I'll be like, "You right. You're right." Like, that's absolutely what I needed to hear. We always appreciate the criticism. We always appreciate the comments because that's how we can do better. For example. So that's a good question, BB. It's just communicating it, communicating the hurdle. And if you didn't communicate it, they lost trust in you, that's when you need to actually like be on your shit and acknowledge that. So yeah. And then yeah, I think that's all of the questions. Let me see. Holders have
There
staking.
is another one from Apple.
Yeah, holders will have staking. Yeah, if you hold a sharks, you're already staking it by holding it. We're taking snapshots frequently, like every 4 to 8 hours. And every 7 days, you're accumulating fishy token. All of this, our website will be released for you to claim it. It's kind of like what we just released the other day with the fishy one pager. So if you want to check out the pin post on our Twitter, we explained a little bit about that. But yeah, holding is staking currently. Um, does the liquidity of the coins come from the profit made from loaning? Fishy token's a utility token, so it's not backed by liquidity. That is a great question. Fishy token, when it drops, it's not going to be backed by liquidity. This isn't going to be something that we put up liquidity for. We don't have an LP provider. So yeah, it's just going to be a utility token for people to level up their sharks, participate in raffles for defaulted NFTs, and we're going to have professional analytic tools for people to have a subscription to, and that's where they can earn fishy from, or that's where they can use fishy for too. So that's the three main uses of our fishy token, which is just a utility token. Leveling up your sharks, which you do want to do, because level 2 sharks and above are the ones that earn Solana. If you have a level 1 sharks, you're not going to be earning Solana. So, fishy token, three things: leveling up your sharks, participating in raffles for defaulted NFTs, and getting a subscription to our professional analytic tools. There may be more utility added in the future, but that's the three main ways. And I think that covered all of the questions. So, for the holders, is it passive income? Um, Not necessarily. I don't want to say that just for legality reasons, legal reasons, but it is gamified dual revenue rewards. So you will have to actively claim it. And I think the process of you actively having to claim it keeps us away from all the regulatory issues, because if we just airdropped it, called it passive income, government might be up our ass. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. So they try to control actually crypto nowadays, but yeah, we're
Yeah, for sure. And then
fighting for decentralization actually.
yeah, for sure. My bad. There was one more question I didn't want to miss, but yes, we do plan on moving to multiple blockchains. We're currently partnered with Pine Protocol. They work over at ETH. So that's just putting that in your ear, but we definitely do plan on moving to ETH. We may plan on implementing and integrating more blockchains, maybe like Polygon or something else in the future. But yeah, that is the plan.
Yeah, that's really nice. All right, so yeah, I think we will move to this next question. I guess it's really interesting, especially to those who are always following you and Sharky updates in every space. So what's actually next for Sharky? So can you talk to us more about the exciting future of Sharky and your team's plans for 2023 to ensure the longevity of the project?
Yeah, 100%. So what's next? After we get these holder utilities out, people start gaining and claiming their Solana. I know we're going to be focusing on the UI and UX of things. We definitely still have more products we want to release, like buy now, pay later, and more things like that. So let me read a little bit of the announcement that we posted yesterday. That just a little bit of our product roadmap, but extendable loans, so making all loans on Sharky be able to be extendable. Bulk operations, like you can bulk borrow, bulk foreclose, be able to adjust all of your loans. Automation for lenders. We have a few dedicated lenders that just want to automate like their loans. Let's say they want to lend out to a specific collection every other day or something. That'll be in the future. Mortgages, as well as the buy now, pay later thing I mentioned. improved analytics, risk management, maybe more disclaimers. Definitely want to focus on education, automated low risk investment fund. But those are just like a few things. Ability to adjust offers online and stuff. Those are just a few things of the product roadmap. And outside of that, I'm also just as community lead speaking. I'm excited to start vibing with the community. You know what I mean? We used to do something every Thursday. If not a holders AMA, we would do something else like play games or do like some quizzes. And the community kind of became like impatient with us on that because they really just want their Solana. They want to earn money. They're like, all right, y'all, I'm just trying to get my fishy token, get my Solana respectfully. So after that's released, I'm 100% excited to start vibing with the community again, creating campaigns around how we can all earn money and maybe play some games and wager some stuff. For example, a lot of people hit us up for poker tournaments, and I'm like, I would, but I don't know if the community's trying to play poker when they just want their money. You know what I'm saying? So that's just a few things that we have in the roadmap, few things that I'm excited about, and yeah, and like I said, we do plan on maneuvering to something like Ethereum. We're not moving from Solana, but we plan on integrating with Ethereum, so I'm excited about that. But I do recommend people like pay attention to who we're partnering up with. We are well connected up with the space. You know, we're connected with Magic Eden, Hello Moon, Pine Protocol, Phantom even like I believe we were a highlighted project even in their mobile wallet. So definitely stay tuned to who we connect and partner with, because I can tell you where we're going in the future too. For example, Atadia. I forgot to mention Atadia, but credit scores. People ask about credit scores. Maybe those are down the line too. Super excited about those because as a lender, if you see a borrower just took your loan, you want to see their credit score. Like, what are they going to pay you back? Are they not going to pay you back? Something
Yeah.
that people might want to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah. All right. So last but not the least, okay. So since we have listeners here who wants to, you know, learn more on how to actually create and launch their own projects. So for new projects, NFT projects launching this 2023. So what suggestions do you have for them to be successful? So what are some of the key things that you want them to keep in mind when starting their own project in the NFT space?
Uh, the FUD. Keep in mind of the constant FUD. Keep in mind of the eyes, the highlight. Like, I used to preach this back then. I don't know why I stopped, but I'm a firm believer if you're creating a large NFT collection, like 5 to 10,000 NFTs, you're creating a startup. You're creating a company. You're founding a company. You're about to ask people to invest into you and give you a significant amount of money. So you better see those people as your investors, your users. You need to value them, but that is something I didn't. That was like months ago when I spoke that, but I didn't see many people really think that way. They thought NFTs are NFTs, just digital collectibles. I'm gonna create a 10K collection and dip. Like that's not the case, you know. And I'm very conservative. I am from stocks, came from forex. I love just collecting my dividends. So if I buy an NFT, I don't even stake really. I'm not a staker. I just buy and hold. I like old, even though I'm only 23 years old. And yeah, so that's something I would definitely keep in mind of how many users, how many people you're affecting, how much money they're about to put into you. Because people are going to put money into you. They're going to spend this amount of money on your NFT. You're going to give them expectations. They're going to expect those. You don't give them those expectations, you're a rug. Simple as that. So I personally will never create an NFT project. Like people can put that on the book. This is recorded. This is Neppah speaking. Don't see this as a Sharky account. This is Neppah speaking. I will never create an NFT collection project. I don't want the stress. I don't want the stress. I don't want to have to manage the money because when you launch a collection, you have a lot of money you're managing too. What soul are you going to put into stables? How much Solana are you going to put into stables? Because, like I said, I've experienced working for a project that ended up rugging me. And what happened on that project? We minted out we minted out a few NFTs when Solana was 250, raised $2.5 million, and the founder did not want to put that into stable. So when Solana dropped 60%, you kind of lose 60% of your money. And then that's when the founder gets stressed and he's like, yeah, I'm out. So those are things you guys want to consider. Consider all of that, you know, money management, people management, customer service. It's all of the above. You're creating a product, you're creating a service, you're creating a company. That's what I'm trying to say. That's my mindset anyway. So definitely keep that in mind.
Yeah, so think not twice but thrice when trying to build your own.
Exactly.
Yeah, because yeah, I realize that's true because a lot of people who are fascinated by the fact that some people earn money through launching NFT projects thought that they can just easily do that, launch a project, hype it, and it will succeed. So it's no longer the case actually right now, especially we are in the bear market. Yeah, I really agree on that.
100%.
So so yeah, I think that sums up all my questions for this space. So do you have any questions from our audience? So just to remind everyone, right? We are actually giving an incentive to those who actually participates and gives us a nice questions, high quality questions, so to encourage you to become more engaged in this really good discussions with our featured projects. So if you have your questions, it's your time to shine now. Click that request to speak button or tweet the button and share your question. So our guest speaker will actually answer it for you guys. And who knows, maybe your high quality question could win you some USDT from token mines as an incentive for being participative in this discussion.
Ooh, I know we've had good discussions and questions so far, so if we don't have any more, I did just want to give my gratitude of thank you for inviting us on. I did appreciate the space, appreciate the whole organization you guys did before it. Definitely like one of the most organized spaces that I've done. I was kind of like I was kind of nervous because when we have a space for about an hour and it's just two of us, it can definitely get quiet, it can get boring, but you guys organized it. So I really appreciate that. And I know we have a
Yeah.
group chat, so we'll continue talking. Maybe if we do another space, we can get one of the founders on too, because I know I'm just a core team member, but people love hearing from our founders. So I appreciate you.
Yeah, yeah. We appreciate this also. It's the first time actually to have this compliments in the way we organize this Twitter space. So yeah, thank you for that also.
Oh yeah, for sure. Those are things I notice because like I said, I've worked with a lot of teams. I'm in partnerships now, so I see how a lot of teams communicate. And yeah, no, not many teams like write a whole document for me to see of what we're gonna talk about in the Twitter space. So cheers to you guys. My only question would
Yeah.
be, I have a question for you guys, but just like explaining to us, like what is Token Minds? What are you guys doing over there?
All right. So actually, Token Minds is a full service Web3 agency. For example, you are a project founder and you want to create something in the Web3 space. So with our experience also in creating projects, we help you start up projects actually. So if you have this dream, maybe we can help you with that, with all the knowledge that we have back from 2017 when we are only launching tokens, IEO, IDOs, etc., and now NFTs. So we build things here like from marketing, advisory services, community management, blockchain, NFT development, or even website development, everything from scratch. Yeah. So we help our clients with those. Actually.
Yeah, 100%. Well, if I know anyone that needs some type of service like that, I'll definitely recommend you guys because just from the organization from the Twitter spaces, I can tell you guys would be organized and helping people create their own startups and stuff like that. So it's really good to know.
Yeah. And also we're also having these spaces, right? So some of potential founders would actually get to know from the real successful projects already their experiences, share their strategies, etc. So this is why we're having also this space and guesting the hottest projects, blue chip projects in this Twitter space to feature them as well. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Appreciate you for
Like
having that.
Yeah,
I
like,
just pinned something up top. I know someone just posted their takeaway, but I like that comment of yours, Ninong. So thank you all for listening to me speak.
yeah. So yeah, shout out Ninong Jules. So yeah, starting an NFT collection, trust is a valued currency. I really like that. Yeah, the community has to believe in you. It's one of the quotable quotes. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a quotable quote.
All right. So, oh, we still actually have some questions. So maybe let's take this last one question. All right. So from BBK. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
So
Having worked on different projects, how do I tailor my marketing approach for each? It's a great question, BB Cake, but to be honest with you, Sharky is the project that I've grown the most at professionally and personally. So before Sharky, I was not into marketing. Before Sharky, I was just used to being a Discord moderator, community manager. You know what I'm saying? But now I would say I call myself a community lead and core team member because this is the first startup I've actually worked at where it's a startup. I've filled in positions where I can fill in, and I've learned to grow myself to do something like marketing. And so I know we have our chief marketing officer, Biba, who I work closely with, who probably could answer this question a bit more for you. But for me personally, I'm still learning. This is my first time like being into marketing, being in a partnership, social media managing. Before this, I was just used to being on Discord and vibing. You know what I'm saying? So I know it may not seem like it because I seem pretty comfortable, but yeah, I've been doing this shit for a little over a year, 2 years. But yeah, before Sharky was definitely just used to being on Discord, and it's why I love Web3. Recommend everybody has a place in Web3. Like if you want to work in Web3, I'd recommend it because this is the most growth I've seen for myself personally and professionally. Like I wouldn't seen myself grow if I was still working as a pharmacy technician, working 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., filling pill prescriptions for pets. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm just now learning like to market, learning about product, learning having users. The thing that's distinctive between Sharky too from the other projects I work for, the other projects I work for were just NFT projects. They didn't have a product. But now this is a product with a project. So I'm not just worrying about the community, I'm worrying about users. You know what I'm saying? We have users and holders, not just holders. So I'm definitely learning a lot of things. It's a good question.
yeah, that's really interesting. In the Web3 space, actually, everyone just tends to indulge themselves in the role and then they learn it from experience. Actually, it's just no one initially was an expert here. Yeah, I agree with that.
100%. But yeah, I think that's all the questions. And thank you so much for having us on, Token Minds. Till again.
Yeah, thank you also, Sharky Project. So yeah, I advise you guys to all listeners here check out Sharky. So just in case you missed our Twitter space for today and the interesting discussion talking about Sharky Project, its perks, utilities, and how it actually benefits its community members and listeners like you, how can you benefit from this platform? So you can always get back into the recording of this Twitter space. And then, yeah, I suggest you check out Sharky and their Twitter and then their website. So for more information, so this is really a good platform in this space and really a helpful one. So yeah, thank you, Nepa Titel, for being our lovely guest for today.
For sure.
Yeah, and thank you everyone. So for those who will be winning actually in our incentive for being participative, so we will be just announcing this maybe on the next day so there's a surprise factor. So thank you everyone for coming in today and see you in the next
Yeah,
space.
thank you, thank you. Before you end it, just to give you guys some stats to see like how much our protocol is working, and it might be a little bit of alpha. Let me update this, but I have been having our stats up just in case anyone asks. But as of now, we have. Let me see. Let's load. Let's load. I believe we have over. No, let me not guess that. Hold on, y'all. My internet went out. Okay, as of now, we have 15,000 and 15,500 total active loans. Someone just took out a loan. And that's been 21,000, a little bit over 21,000 Solana in 24 hours in total loan volume. Like I said, our default rate's currently at 7.7%. We work with 7 or 14-day loans, but currently the average repayment time is at 6 days, 1 hour, and 13 minutes. So that's a fun fact, but our lenders sometimes get paid early, which is in their favor, because if the lenders get paid early, they're still getting paid in full from the borrower.
Yeah.
And that's just with over almost 300,000 total loans taken. So just little stats from Sharky and how much we're working, and appreciate the space.
Yeah, thank you for that. Really interesting. So yeah, check out Sharky Project, its Twitter account and its website. And yeah, thank you everyone for listening today, and see you again next week in our Twitter space. So we'll have another guest, which or who will we announce. So yeah, have a nice day everyone, and bye bye.